morning. Good morning, Unity, and all the brave souls that are here. What's a little 20 below zero amongst friends? So first of all, today I would like to say thank you to Rodney and Ed as their contribution to our center. Every birthday Sunday, which is the first Sunday of the month, they are making flower arrangements for all of the people that have birthdays in that month. So thank you so much for, and are they not beautiful? And the little candles, thank you so much. And that's just a nice contribution, and it shows ownership, and so we so appreciate you. You can own us and we'll own you. Okay. All right. So if any of you have your cell phones on, may I ask you please to turn them off? And we'll just wait 1 second because that door is going to open and in comes another cold buddy or two. Good morning and welcome. All right, so I don't know about this opening song, Jules. It says we have to trust the wind. So we will just listen to Trust the Wind. Bring in that choir, would you please, Josh?
Inside my head, telling me you're gonna be alright. Making saying let yourself be led where you are led. Don't hold back, don't put up a fight. It tells me trust the wind, breathe the air. There's a place you're meant to be, and you're already there. Open up your heart and let life in. Know that you can always trust the wind. When the world starts doing things that I don't understand, and I search my soul to find a reason why. In the dark of night I feel somebody take my hand and tell me you don't even have to try. For you can trust the wind, breathe the air. Know that there are helping hands around you everywhere. Open up your heart and let life in. Know that you can always trust the wind. Dreams have wings, thoughts take flight. All good things are streaming toward us every day. They hear our prayers, they know the way. I'm gonna trust the wind, breathe the air. Let it take me on its wings and carry me somewhere. I'll open up my heart and let life in. I know wherever the breezes blow, wherever winding rivers flow, I'm going where I need to go. I can trust the wind.
Okay. Yeah, good choice. Thank you. Thank you. And it's really interesting, but Jules picks all of the music and she doesn't really know which songs are, that used to be from my own church. And in case you couldn't tell, that was one of them. So brings back good memories. So our vision and mission, a spiritual community of love, peace, and acceptance, creating an inclusive spiritual community through fellowship, service, and community outreach. And now I would like to ask Tom Klaver if he would join me and read us the daily word, light the Christ candle, and write the flames of faith.
Thank you, Reverend Arlene. Good morning, everyone. The daily word for today is embark. I reach for new opportunities with enthusiasm. Today, I rekindle my faith in the power of new beginnings. No matter what I am about to embark on, I bring great enthusiasm to it. I push past any fears or trepidation that may have been holding me back and keeping me in my comfort zone. I believe in the power of passion and that my gifts and talents will carry me far. I embrace a beginner's mind and heart as I embark on new opportunities. I trust the people I meet, the places I go, and the things I learn will help me be ready, willing, and more than able to do everything I am called upon to do. Aware of the power, life, and love of the divine within me, I am grateful for everything that has led me to be ready to embark on each of my new beginnings. From Isaiah 43:19, I am about to do a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? We light the Christ candle today as a reminder that Christ's light is within us, providing all that we need for life, love, and happiness.
And as we begin our flames of faith, we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of all life, which acknowledges that all people and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. So as I asked Tom to light the first candle, we light that candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. And we light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic forms, for all forms of the universal religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. I almost made it. We got to 7 before I mixed it up. We light a candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the last candle that we light a candle for all of those who are yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space that we're holding for them at this center, and for all religions unnamed in this ceremony. Thank you, Tom.
It's not about sacrifice that leaves us to be. There's something more important that we're born to know. 'Cause whatever we do and wherever we go, it's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart, love fills it up. It's all about love. Love is the miracle of a newborn child. Love is that someone makes your heart go wild. But however you feel it, it's all the same thing. It's the spirit within you that makes you want to sing. It's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart, love fills it up. It's all about love. So when the world is overflowing with pain, when you don't remember a sky without rain, just hold on, help is on the way, bringing a perfect new world, bright, a brighter day. It's all about love. It's all about love. Just open your heart. Love fills it up. It's all about love. Just open your heart, love fills it up. It's all about love.
Beautiful. You know what I was thinking? So in looking at all of you, and I thought, Jules, we could get like little paddles with a handle, and it says I'm smiling, because I look and I can't tell. So I'm looking at Carrie, and I'm really smiling at her, but I don't know if she's smiling back. So I thought we got these little things, and it says I'm smiling at you. Anyhow. Yes, this is your minister speaking, and this is the way she reads. Oh, God, you just gotta love me. All right. So I decided that the first Sunday of every month we would do one of the powers for the powers of man, that is part of unity. And there's a discrepancy. Some lists show love as the second power, and some show it as the fourth power. Well, I don't care. I choose the second power because that's what we want to talk about. It's February. We talk about love. And by the way, so in the class the other night, I asked this teacher, her name is Karen. I said, so where did these 12 powers come from? Like, because I never heard of them before unity, and 12 powers, the faculty of man, are not in the Bible, and they're not in textbooks, and we didn't learn about them in the Science of Modern Religious Science. And so I said, well, did Charles just make these up because? And basically, that's the answer. Yes, Charles made them up because, 12 is a powerful number and all that. We talked about that a while back with the first one. But I just thought it was interesting that he took the 12 powers, then took the disciples and kind of matched them, and then picked the color. Like today, the love disciple is John, and that color is pink because it's not red roses love like romance. It's the other love. It's pink. And then he took the body, and well, it's easy to find the heart. John, heart is behind the heart. So he figured out all of these things. So it is part of unity, and it is part of my exam. So you are all helping me and learn these. And I have a little thing on my refrigerator that has the 12 powers, and I keep memorizing the color of the disciple on the thing. So, anyhow, that's a long story. It's not even on my list of things to talk about. So my question then is, what do we know about God and love? That's my question for the day. So according to Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, and the one who, let's say, created or established the 12 powers of man, he said, love is the divine mind. It is the idea of universal unity. In its expression, it is the kind of power that joins and binds the universe and everything in it. And I think that's really a good definition, truthfully, of love. I like it. And we're speaking of universal love, which of course encompasses all love. So Fillmore goes on to say then that love is a harmonizing, constructive power, and when it is made active in consciousness, it conserves substance and reconstructs, and it rebuilds, and it restores our world. So when we take this active consciousness and we put it to good, then we can restruct, we can rebuild, and we can restore our world. And I think that's what's really going on in our world right now, and I think it's all good and it's all God, of course. So in the Bible it says God is love, and whoever abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him. So, and then God is love, and then all who live in love live in God, and God lives in them. So it's that God in me, as me, is me. And I think that's the easiest way to understand that the Spirit, the Holy Spirit lives within us. The kingdom of heaven is within. God in me, as me, is me. So when people say, you guys believe you're God, and you freeze because you don't know what to say, you just say, what we believe is God in me, as me, is me. And that stops that whole conversation. Say it with me. God as me, is me, in me. Let's try that again. God in me, as me, is me. God in me, as me, is me. Oh, God, and I didn't even have a Bloody Mary this morning. I don't know. So in the heart of winter, which we are, let us devote time now to this feeling nature of love, focusing our attention then on the heart center, that which is in us. So being one then with this infinite love, we can choose to love all humanity and the wholeness and the perfection, rising above the five senses. Our earthly existence is in our five senses, right? You would agree with that. But to rise above that, to raise our consciousness, to go to the higher self, being in communion with the goodness that we are, that's when that love matriculates down into our being. So love the ability to attract, desire, and unify. Does that make sense? We do use love to attract, we have desire, and we unify, we bring together. So the disciple John, who is called John the Beloved, he represents unconditional acceptance and forgiveness. Oh, do we not all strive for that? unconditional acceptance, forgiveness. So the corresponding color is pink. I don't know why. It's what Fillmore wanted. And the heart location, of course, is behind the heart. That's where it is. So it's love that heals, it prospers, it attracts, it holds, and it makes real the good ideas. So love is the most easily recognized and most frequently misinterpreted of the 12 powers, because it's the part of life and living, and without love, people perish. So when people hear one of the powers is love, they immediately go to the romantic love, and that's not at all what it encompasses. It encompasses the all of love, and we're going to talk about that a little bit down the way. So when Jesus then prayed, and the prayer of atonement with his disciples, as reported beautifully by John, our loved disciple, he was calling attention then to the ultimate activity of love, the spiritual oneness that pervades everything in life. And you know, until I was reading about John this week, yeah, I knew who he was and all that good stuff, had him over for dinner, but I didn't know that he was such a beautiful writer. John was the disciple whom Jesus loved the most. Talk about your father having a favorite, right? Yeah, he definitely was. And in that it is said that he deserved the name that Jesus gave him because he was the one in the Gospels, and he named Jesus as all love. And John wrote 3 of the Gospels that bear his name, and probably 3 other epistles of John. So the Gospel of John then represents Jesus in a very different manner than the first 3 writers of the Gospel. Chapters 14 through 17 are among the most beautiful, comforting, and inspiring in the entire Bible. And I would like to say that I read them last night, and I was going to, but I forgot. But hey, I'm not going to lie up here, so God will strike me down. So, but check that out in John, chapters 14 to 17 are among the most beautiful. And reasons for identifying John with the attributes of love and with the heart of man and man's personal body needs little understanding. It is written that next to Jesus, John in his maturity came closest to exemplifying the Christ spirit in mankind. So he is the disciple. He is called John, the beloved. Place to reach for in life, I think. Think about it. Think what we might feel when we can embody spirit in the fullness. Imagine everything in our lives falling into the right exact place at the right exact time for the right and perfect reason. That would indeed be pure love, would it not? Yeah, that's what I think too. On page move. And what do we know about thinking? As we think in our heart, there it is. With deep feeling, when we're thinking in our heart and we're thinking with deep feeling, then that is what we become, totally. Love is. God is. Love is. Love continues to be. So just as the sun continues to shine, whether or not we know it's there, whether or not we can see it, or in fact, even if we don't believe it, there could be a theory that the sun doesn't always shine, but it does. So as I said, the love center in the body is located in the heart. And as the heart circulates life-giving blood throughout our bodies, so right concept of love circulates life-giving sustenance through our thinking and feeling nature. Thinking and feeling nature, as well as our bodies of affair. And you've probably heard me say this before, if you remember, that the heart is the only organ that feels and speaks to us through our feelings. My heart feels so alive. How many times have you said it? My heart is so alive. My heart is broken. I feel my heart breaking. My heart is wholly joyous. You can feel that within you. I don't think that the liver tells you it's wholly joyous, unless maybe it healed of something. So the development of the God consciousness of the oneness enriches all phases of the life that it enters. Does that make sense to you? The development of God consciousness enriches all phases of life as it enters us. And to be in that God consciousness, we need to move from our five senses to a higher level. Rise above that which is going on. Rise above that which we are seeing. Rise above appearances. In a wonderful book, Mightier Than Circumstances, the author Frank Whitney writes, and by the way, Mightier Than Circumstances is an unbelievable book that Frank Whitney has written. I'm probably going to use it for book club when we get back to spring. He writes this: you cannot escape God's love. He says, if you ascend to the heights of spiritual consciousness, you will find God. Okay, so higher consciousness, of course. That's the realm of spirit, right? If you wallow in disease and live in lack, you still have recourse in God. Why? Because of the divine omnipresence, meaning ever present, ever at hand, is always with us. We the people, sometimes forget that God is the ever-shining light. It's surrounding us with peace, love, and light, part of the seven attributes of the Christ consciousness. God is always with us. It doesn't matter what we're thinking. It, with a capital I, does not leave us ever. How could it possibly be if it lives inside of our heart? I was working with somebody this week, and one of the age-old questions, and in fact, Rodney and I were talking about it before service, and I'm going to do a whole talk on it. Can't answer that question in 10 minutes. Was, why do bad things happen to good people? And God has left me, and I'm all alone, and I said, well, where is your God? And she said, in the sky. And I said, well, wow, this is going to be a tough time of working with this person, because first I got to get God out of the sky into your heart before I can even possibly answer questions. And I will tell you, I've been thinking about it, and I've been thinking about it, and I think the best way to think about it is the 5 principles of unity. I think that's a really good way just to get a commitment. Let's work on that and forget about the God in the sky for a while. So, but we forget that God is always there, omni, always, omnipresent, always with us. The truth is, we can never get away from God because God lives in our heart. It's the feeling center of our body. Our very breath is the breath of God. The air we breathe is the life force of God. What is the first thing that happens when a baby is born? It gasps for air. The breath of life fulfills it, and it cries and says, I'm here. And every doctor, every nurse, and every mom and dad wait, right, for that sound. As soon as you hear that baby cry, you know God has entered that baby's life. So when you say God is not there for me, God's turned away from me, that is not the truth. Here's what the truth is. You have turned away from God. But God is still right there. Even though you've done that, even though you've turned away, God is still there. Think of the times when you were alone and you knew without a doubt something tangible enough for you to see was there, something with your spiritual eyes, and you couldn't quite, and you hear, but you don't hear words. Something spoke to your heart. How many of you have experienced in that silence something speaks, right? All of you, exactly. Frank Whitney says, The angel of God's presence attends us. We cannot escape God. Isn't that beautiful? The angel of God's presence attends us. We cannot escape God. So, what is one of the most famous Bible verses? Does anybody know?
John 3:16.
1 John 16. When God is love. That is one of the most famous Bible verses. I remember where I lived in New York, this one neighborhood, and those signs were in everybody's front lawns. We must realize that God, divine mind, is so much more than love. Love is just one of the aspects of the many. So the preacher was talking to the master, and he said, "Allow me to explain the good news my religion proclaims," said the preacher. And the master was all attention. And the preacher said, "God is love, and God loves and rewards us forever if we obey the commandments." "If," said the master, "then the news isn't all that good, is it?" There are many abilities to the power of love. Emotion, the ability to feel affection for or to or desire something. Attraction, the ability to attract ourselves towards something. And harmony, the ability to unify or bring agreement and accord to our thoughts and situations. So let's look at them for a second or two. Emotion, the ability to feel affection for or desire something. The emotional side of love, probably one of the most written about, talked about, and sought out to experience. Even people who have a hard time expressing love still want love. While this love can be eloquently spoken about, this is the love at times that can make our heart leap out of our bodies with joy, and at other times can break our hearts into a million little pieces. None of you have been there, right? Right. Me neither. Attraction, the ability to attract ourselves towards something. This is the ability to use the desire to desire another person or a thing. It's totally separate from the feeling side. This is the love like, I love chocolate. Okay. This is the primary ability behind what is called the law of attraction. The ability is impersonal. You use chocolate or you can abuse chocolate. Does that make sense? Okay, the ability to use desire for another person or thing. Me, I love bread and I abuse it. So the third one, harmony, the ability to unify or bring agreement and accord to our thoughts. So the singer harmonizes with others in a group, right? The instruments in an orchestra must harmonize to make the music enjoyable. And then we can create so many good things if we can harmonize with one another, if we can unify. Think of the world unifying to bring about the resolution of conflict. Wow. So with everything in life, how we use these neutral aspects of love, their impact can be negative or positive, right? So therefore, we must always set and have a clear intention when we are using these abilities. Our words, our actions create what kind of world of love we're living in. And that always throws it back on our shoulders. So we can begin to create our minds towards being a continuum. I want to be a touchstone for love. I want to be a touchstone for love. Can we take the highest level of responsibility for our thoughts and actions into life? I don't know. Can we? So if you will, think about that as we go into meditation. Can we take responsibility for our thoughts and actions in our life? Can we remember that whatever the challenge, the solution is love, God. What today is before you that if you turned toward God, it could be lifted from your shoulders? Are you willing this day to return to love? Return to your higher self. Return to God. What would that feel like? When you say, let go, let God, are you embodying it? What does it mean to you? So what I know today is this. I know that in love we live, we move, we have our being. Today I choose to make love my bottom line, knowing that it will bring peace to me, those around me, and to the country and world. And wherever I go, wherever I am, I enter with a simple silent prayer, knowing only love dwells here. Love fills this space. Whoever enters, enter in love. And I know the promise of life, that the promise of life can miraculously change when love is at the forefront. In relationships, in your careers, in your families, with your friends, new beginnings, wherever you are, God is, and all is well. And this is the truth. And so it is. Amen. It is done.
prepared to be strong. For so long, you don't remember who you are. But when I see you, I see myself too. I know the child hidden in your heart. You're only human like me. You're lonely sometimes like me. You're longing for love like me. You're just like me. I know the ones who most hurt you are those you trusted most of all. But to forgive them is to live again and heal the heart of that child so small. You're only human like me. You're lonely sometimes like me. You're longing for love like me. You're just like me. We cry for a safe place, a quiet space to be, where a soul shows its true face, where love flies free.
And that's no excuse. And if you would do a prayer of protection, our prayer for our offertory prayer with me. The love of God inspires me to give in a spirit of generosity. I give with love and joy to ensure the growth of this ministry and this unity center. And again, thank you all that are here for your generous contributions, and for all of you who send them in the mail. We so appreciate that. And we just let you know that in the first quarter of this fiscal year, we are right on track with budget and with expenditures. So all is good. And the reason that all is good is because even though you're not here, you're still supporting our center. And this is a beautiful thing. So thank you all so very much. And our announcements are, Release and Renew. This is in the back. Again, they're $1 if you have it. If not, take one anyhow. And it is the legend book. All of these booklets that are done by Unity.
Those have been gifted, so they don't cost anything, right?
They were gifted. Well, they are gifted, so just take one anyhow. All right, who gifted them? Huh?
I did.
Santa. Okay, well, thank you, Santa. All right, I didn't see. That's why we have Jules.
I
'cause
did
I'm-
that. I did it.
Oh,
I paid for it.
thank you, Jules. This is different from
I didn't know you were Santa.
I'm giving my
Hey,
list
there's
to
a
you.
lot you don't know about me.
Thank you, thank you. Our February birthdays, Diane, and Diane's birthday is not on the 2nd, it's the 12th. Would that be correct? Yes, good. Okay, and then we have Vita Martin. If you're out there watching, Vita, happy birthday. And then Ed is on the 28th. So if your names are not on the list, then you need to tell Jules what your birthday is, because that's why you would not hear your name, see your name, or get a card from me. So let us know that. And again, for those of you that came in a couple of seconds late, the flowers up here are from Ed and Rodney, and they are doing those once a month for all of the birthdays. And they bought the vase, and they bought the candles, and they bought the flowers, and they're going to have new vases for all of the different holidays, and we'll keep them here. And that was a lovely gift too. Thank you again for doing that. Okay. And men's fellowship, Saturday, 9:30, guys.
Okay.
9:30. The reason it's not 9 anymore is because you're not doing breakfast. So Dave changed it to 9:30, and until we can go back to breakfast. So it's at 9:30, February 13. And from what I hear, it's an unbelievable, amazing group of men having discussions on God knows what. I'd love to be a fly on the wall, but integrity won't let me do that. So anyhow, join that. And as soon as we know when the women's group is coming back, we will let you know. All right. Could we close with Love is My Decision, please, from Daniel? That would be great. That would be great. Because I like that song. Love is my decision. I don't know why I'm in such a good mood. I have to go home and do homework all day. It's that thing, Happy New Day. I'm still doing it, by the way. Still doing it.
Love is my decision.
Want to stand up and move? Yeah.
It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is
It's a
my
sway song.
decision.
Yeah, it's a sway song. You're sway.
No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. strive to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can hide in my love. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. My decision, right here and now.
Not like that. And if you will do the prayer of protection with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And as we leave here today, we just leave in an air of celebration and joy, knowing that the day brings football, friends, family, and celebration and sadness because the Packers are not playing. But it's all good action. It's all right. It's all divine. It's all love. It's life. And it's all good. And it's all God. So we celebrate this day. We leave here in joy. We celebrate the day. We celebrate the week. We celebrate life. And we decide love is our decision. So I just let this be so, and together we say, and so it is. Amen. And it is done.